All right, and welcome back to the Prometheus Deep Dive, a CNC podcast. This is the podcast where we dive deep into the second episode of Prometheus season of The Elders. Today, my co-host is one of my favorite org people, Sherry. Sherry, how you doing today?
Hey, Casey, I'm doing great. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing wonderful, a little bit tired, but wonderful, and very excited to talk about this spicy episode. So let's just dive right into it. We saw a Mark boot tonight. Now, you and I love Mark. Let's just get into it. I'm sure you have a ton to say about Mark.
My silver fox, Mark. We don't even need to go see fireworks this weekend. I just watched them during episode 2. There were, the title that I think it comes from Ben, Meltdown, it really does well. Mark got caught round 1, not voting in the majority, no fault of his own, as we'll get into, but it came back to haunt him. The clear majority is like, it's got to be Mark or Jeffrey. I agreed very much so with a couple statements made as to why I would have taken Mark over Jeffrey at this point in the game. And boom, there went my silver great hair fox leaving the show. Mark, you just got to quit playing these minis. You're like me. They're just not for you.
See, actually, I have been saying to Mark for a while, I disagree. I actually think Mark would do very well in a mini. Mark is a smart individual, despite him saying he's not. He is a smart individual. He is strategic and he's aggressive. And in these minis, you do need to be aggressive. So I think if Mark can just kind of lay it low a little bit in the beginning, like he said he was going to do in this game, I think once he gets his footing, he could be aggressive and he can actually make it far. But
no, because he laid low. If you really watched him, he was trying to, but he gets up against these players that are maybe new to the community, new to these games, and it's just his instinct to go in and try his best. And in this game, he really was laying low. He was just trying to stick with the majority. He wasn't trying to be shady, and he even called out Jenny for her being shady, but yet here's Mark gone. I think Mark is like me. You've got to put us in a game and give us time to get to know us, and then you don't want to vote us out. Then we're good. And these games that are 2 days long and so fast paced, poor Mark doesn't get that opportunity to say, hey, get to know me. You'll really love me. Let me flirt with you for 5 minutes. We'll be besties.
See, here's the thing, though, with Mark is an experienced org player. He should have known better and just gone with the majority. That first episode, just go with the majority, He knew that the 4 were pretty solid on that. Yeah, he thought that Jenny might have potentially voted, but I should know this, but I believe she never actually officially said she would vote Tasha. You could tell she was very dodgy, that Mark in that first episode was really trying to pull out the name, and she gave in. Mark should have just gone with the majority, and it would have been unfortunate. And he even said in his confessionals, he thought about going with Ariana, and he should have, and he really should have, because then they would have just gotten Jeffrey out, which, don't get me wrong, I don't want Jeffrey out, but that could have solved that. But
because Tasha definitely was about getting one at the beginning of this episode, when I think they had already gone to they'd already gone to their challenge. We still got to talk about your first challenge, what it should have been called. Having them do the rule books. Wonder where you got that idea from. But Tasha, she really seemed like she was like, no, I know I picked Jeffrey, but we've never talked. And you even show where they're both trying to connect up in rooms, and it's like 60 seconds left or whatever. And they're like, so she was all for taking Jeffrey out. Ben's more of the good guy of the tribe. He saw the value in Mark, and Jeffrey is a loudmouth. He's already talking trash to people, throwing shade around, when ironically Mark had threw shade on their tribe. He called out Jenny. You came in our room. You said this. You agreed to vote for Tasha. And she was just like, mm-hmm. And you're right. She was very dodgy in that room. You could tell she was not comfortable in that room at all. Like, she was like, almost like, yeah, go talk to the other people. Like, go. So I don't know if that was just Jenny, but we'll get into Jenny, because I caught her in a couple lies already. We'll get into Jenny. But yeah, I just feel like Louise is going to go with the role right now. She's having fun. She is a funny character. I have a big heart by her name. I'm loving Louise. Jocelyn is, I've got an actual note on her. I call bullshit on a statement she said later in this round. So I don't know. Jocelyn, I think, is trying to play too even of a game because she makes a statement at Tribal. And I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit. You know by now. But Ben, I'm real curious to see how Ben's going to do. Jenny wants to team up with Ben. You already have a Jennifer Ben. What did he call it? Blenny?
Yeah. Blenny. Ben, Louise, and Jenny.
Louise, yeah, Blenny. I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? I got to have him play for Conflict. Oh my God, Blenny. But Jenny really wants to be just Ben and Jenny. So what would it be? Just Benji or Benny or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's funny. Like, well, I want to speak on Jocelyn a little bit. Obviously, the content with Jocelyn is a little bit on the more minimum side when it comes to the whole of Iran.
She's been the elder. Nobody's challenged her yet to be elder.
Yeah, she can't vote, but I think she is playing it safe. She's been talking to everybody. She's kind of keeping her nose clean because I see the benefit of potentially shoving your nose in people's business being a part of the strategy, but I also see where she's coming from. And also, this is her first game she's ever played. So she's probably trying to really play it safe here. But
well, there was a statement you asked her a question at Tribal about, how do you make these decisions, something to that extent? And she's like, well, I don't know how. You can't really base it off of anything yet. No, you just lost the second challenge. By now, you've got Ben over there saying Jeffrey needs to go. He's calling out people on the other tribe that aren't even on our tribe. And you've got this person, Jenny, saying Mark needs to go. He called me out and he's full of crap. Oh, yes, Jocelyn, you knew who needed to go this round. You just don't want to say it or be honest about it. I get it. Because if you don't know by this point, then you are lost.
To be fair, though, she didn't call out the person she thought should have gone at the temple, but she did in the one room. She said that they should have kept Mark. And the thing is that when you really think about it, someone like Mark and someone like Jeffrey is also a new order. And you can just tell Jeffrey does not fully grasp what's going on in this game. He did not fully understand the challenge at all, that Jocelyn had to explain it to him. Mark is an experienced order. He knows how these things go, which is kind of a double-edged sword. But in this situation, in a game where these challenges are very important, you need to keep someone who's going to be a challenge asset. And Mark most likely is going to be the challenge asset. Mark should be the one that stays. And Jocelyn does say that. Ben does say that. Louise says it as well.
But then you have, who was it? Louise actually was the first. Louise backed up, but Jenny is the one who brought up that keeping Jeffrey would be a good shield. And because I was putting in my notes, why are they not keeping Jeffrey? He'd be the perfect shield because Jeffrey's going to be a target every round. Mark, sadly, as much as I would not have taken out Mark, between me and you, I wouldn't have taken out Mark. Mark's name would have never been out there. But if I didn't know Mark and I didn't know, because I don't know Jeffrey, I would have actually gone after Mark also because Jeffrey's just a good shield. And Jenny brings that up too. Right after I wrote the note, here comes Jenny saying it. And Ben was kind of like, well, yeah, I do see your point. Ben likes to play like he's this free spirited, which I really do think he is a free spirit. But I know he's thinking because he knows exactly what's going on in the game.
Well, that's the funny thing about Ben is that when I looked at Ben's application, when we did Ben's interview, when Ben submitted his introduction video before the game officially started, he presented himself as the wild child, someone that would be chaotic and just, yeah, but he's not playing that way at all. If anything, he is the leader of the tribe. Everyone looks to him. He is the center of it all. He also is showing the most clear-headedness in the game right now. He's like, I'm on the fucking crazy team. Like, what the fuck is going on?
They're having meltdowns. And that, that's where the tagline, because he's right. He's like, this person's over here freaking out. This person, he's like, it's only round 2. What is going on? And welcome to Survivor, Ben. Welcome to Survivor. Because at one point I even made a note, Ben was just like zoom, 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 zoom. I was like, wow, what had Ben put in his orange juice this morning? Because he is rolling.
He's got the best confessionals. Truly, he has. I'm going to straight up say it, in the entire game, he's got my favorite confessionals. There are a handful of people that have really good confessionals, but nothing compares to Ben's confessionals. Even like that little moment where he's like, ooh, Jenny's really sneaky, but like he's got a bit of a crush on her. And it's like so funny and it's so cute and it shows his personality. It's great. Ben's got great confessionals.
Yeah, because I can see that. But Jenny, liar, liar, pants on fire. You're not being all true about everything you say. But I like the way she's maneuvering herself through it, because you see her playing a very logical game. But, when Mark went in and was talking to him, was like, I know I'm probably going to go. I don't really want to go. You could see her waver on it. Well, am I making the right decision? Ben really wants Jeff out. Am I doing the right thing here, taking Mark out? Because, now I kind of feel bad. Maybe I did, misconstrued the situation. But then she was like, but I'm not going to go against my group. I'm staying in the majority. So she pulled the trigger.
Yeah. I mean, I got to give her props for that. It's funny. Like I said, I wasn't expecting Ben to play this type of game, but Ben's game right now almost reminds me of like games that I played in the past where like I'm in a good social spot, but I don't want the power in the beginning. So I very much concede it to others. And that's pretty much what Ben did. Honestly, I think if Ben pushed to keep Mark, I think they would have gone with that. So it really came down to Jenny, calling the shots. But the way that Jenny does it is it's not even in an aggressive way. And honestly, her calling the shot to get rid of Mark benefits her game more than anyone else. And Tasha is indebted to her. So Tasha is definitely going to follow, because we saw in the challenge, Tasha was like, fuck you, Jeffrey. I want you out next.
She gave him the middle finger and all. There was a middle finger involved in all when she did her public vote.
Which I guess actually, let's just move on to the challenge right now. I feel like we've covered Aaron and Mark's boot and everything pretty well. So what did you think of the challenge? This was probably my favorite challenge from the first season. I'm very much happy we brought it back. But yeah.
Well, the other tribe won. They won by a landslide, so they were getting their videos in. I think it was Brady that says that. Oh, well, let's talk about Brady. Michael,
and for
Brady.
Those, yeah, I was about to say, for
Michael
those who don't
Brady.
know Michael.
When Michael is behaving and being good in org, he is Michael. When he turns into evil little brat that's going to take your ass out, which he's going to take all of y'all out. We might as well. I already know he won. I'm calling it now. He won, didn't he? Didn't he, Casey? Come on, tell me. Well, when Brady turns into Brady, y'all better just step back. So Michael Brady, I think, had a really good sense. He said, I guess they just didn't understand how to get the videos in quickly, and we did. Because here they are. That's 2 in a row. They just won. It's giving them time to really get to know each other and probably make better decisions when they finally do, if they end up in tribal, because this team their side is rocking it. Because and Michael, he's even like, he started out on, I'm going to be aligned with these people because, the quick vote, they didn't go to vote. Now he's aligning with these people because he really likes Aaron and Josh. Everybody loves Josh. I'm feeling like Josh on that tribe is going to be going far. All I hear is Josh, the River Boys, Josh.
Well, Josh wasn't a part of the River Boys. The River Boys was Maddie, Michael, Antonio, and CJ.
Maddie, Michael, yeah, Josh. And then because Josh gets picked by Michael. And then that's where that one alliance comes through. They have the CJ. Didn't they have CJ, Maddie, Antonio, and Michael? That's also an alliance.
Well, Michael picked Josh. Josh picked Aaron. Yeah.
And then at the beginning, if their tribe had lost the first challenge, it would have been CJ, Maddie, who I love Maddie, Antonio, and Michael voting together in a voting block because they thought, we better make something quick. And Michael feels at the bottom of that. So Michael's going over there trying to work with Josh and Aaron. And at the same time, another group's trying to work with Josh. Josh is really popular, huh?
Well, people do like Josh. It's weird that team breaks out into so many different potential alliances. If I had to even speculate, which it's really hard to, if they went for like an easy first boot, I feel like they probably would have gone for Aaron in that first episode. Just because Antonio knows Bloody, people realize that Bloody is an asset, Tracy's immune, and then you have the 4 River Boys. So then, like, kind of in a way, at least in that first episode, the outliers are Josh and Aaron. And I feel like Aaron was more quiet than Josh in the beginning. So I think Aaron would have went home first.
Yeah, because Aaron said that. I think you caught her saying that in a confessional. You know, thank goodness we have another round. This gives me time to build some allegiances here. But the challenge itself was good. It was fast paced. I've done that something similar to that before, but not exactly that one. And it's really a matter of just picking your thing, getting your video, turn it in. And clearly one side got that concept very well, while the other side, I feel like you had Mark over there saying, I don't even know how did he get to the bathtub so quick? It took me, you know, I was in and out in a minute. What was he in and out in 30 seconds? So,
I mean, he literally took off his pants and his shirt. What Mark should have done was immediately grabbed a fork, dipped in that bathtub, sent the video in. Then while the score is being tallied, you can go get changed, get dried up, you know?
Yeah, because he's in his little tidy boxers.
Yeah, he was in his boxer briefs. Now, that's the funny thing about the challenge, too. Had so wait, it was what, 4 to 8,
right?
4 to 8. So had Mark submitted his in faster, they would have won. In addition to that, not that these two things would have changed the outcome, because honestly, the big thing was the bathtub recreating Anna's submission from season 1. Jeffrey. Yeah, with the fork as a trident to be like Poseidon. Yeah. Jeffrey submitted a confessional. Now, it's been a really long time since I've looked at the timestamps, because this is back on February 19th. So if I remember correctly, Jeffrey submitted his video before Maddie did, but unfortunately, Jeffrey submitted a confessional, not the Zeus video. So they didn't get a point for that.
Because Jeffrey, he submitted that video like, because there was a little thing that flashes up when that video comes on. What was it that you said?
Yeah. So like I said, Jeffrey originally submitted his confessional, and then Jeffrey was a little bit hard to contact after the game, but I wanted that video clip, that Zeus clip. It literally took me months after the game. I think it was probably like mid to late April. Hell, it could have even been early May. I finally got that Zeus submission. And so that's why at the very end it says, you know, submit it months later, because it literally was months.
Yeah, I was like, what did he mean by months later? Like, yeah, I didn't get it. I knew it didn't count, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted all the video clips to be shown, because last season, either I wasn't clear last season or something, but like everyone was submitting multiple videos last season. So to make the challenge short enough, yeah, and they were only supposed to submit one, last season. But so yeah, last season we didn't show all the video clips. This season I did want to make sure we showed them all. And you know, with everyone just submitting one, it's only 14 video clips. Hell, that whole challenge segment is only like 6-7 minutes long.
It was still cute. I really enjoy watching them when they have to get silly and do something silly. I think it lightens the mood. It's a good episode to do it in, the second episode, because it allows for people to get silly. It gives them also time to talk for a few minutes. And clearly Jeffrey was putting his foot in his mouth when he was talking to Bloody. What is Bloody's real name? Are you allowed to say, or does she just
I think she says it in literally the first episode, but just in case, I'll tell you and then I'll just beep it out. But her real name is.
Oh, right on.
But she's from the Discord community, and that's what she goes by in the Discord community.
I love her, though. Love her. Yeah, I loved her. I remember telling you about her before the show even started, is how much I was like, this girl actually went through and took notes. I love her. Anybody takes notes has my heart.
Yeah, she is, I guess, the first Prometheus super fan, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Bloody is absolutely amazing. She came highly recommended by Joe, who is a season 1 alumni.
I'm not going to lie. I really thought Louise was going to be the one in the bathtub. That girl, to me, is just balls to the wall. I have high hopes for her. I love watching her. She is just fun. And the things that she says is even funnier. So you got your comic for the season, because she just cracks me up for whatever reason. I enjoy her and Maddie.
Yeah.
Maddie, I think he's going to be fun to watch too. I can't wait till their tribe loses.
If and
Sorry,
when they
guys,
lose.
I'm rooting for y'all, but I can't wait.
But yeah, let's kind of just hit a couple last notes. So what are your thoughts on, I guess, really Antonio, Tracy, and CJ? I'm kind of curious to hear what you think about them before we move on to our next segment.
CJ is going to be very strategic. Everybody better watch their backs with CJ. I don't know if they're paying attention to CJ. CJ is very strategic. He's going to come off real flirty and sweet, and he's going to, try to disarm you into not seeing who he is. But CJ is a very good player. And I think CJ is going to run a lot of this game. But right now, I think there's going to be a push and a pull between CJ and Maddie, because you've got Maddie. I heard you say Maddie, because I know you only are briefly showing them because they're winning. But you've got Maddie already saying that he's, Brady's sketched out by Maddie, Michael sketched out by Maddie, because Maddie, I think, everybody was discussing briefly who they were going to vote off. And of course, it never came to happen. Tracy, I really like Tracy a lot. Let me see what I gave her on my rating. Tracy, my shuttle bus driver, when she calls it, she really cracks me up. But she works in the food service industry.
Hospitality, sorry.
Food service, she's hospitality. But she works in an industry where she is used to dealing with difficult people. I'm certain that she probably puts up with a lot of bull crap all day long and other really good stuff too. But so I think she has good patience, good tolerance. But when she flat out was like, yeah, Tasha, I wouldn't work with her. Her internet sucks. I died too. I think everybody in that moment died. I think she came off very likable. I could really see her doing well in the game, or sadly becoming fizzling and dying and becoming an easy boot. But I think as far as entertainment value, she is definitely there. Jeff is coming out very quiet. He's actually cousins with CJ, not CJ. Who's he cousins with? From Jeff? Is it Jeff that has a cousin that played season 1?
Jeffrey?
No, who was it that had their cousin who played season 1 of Prometheus and didn't do well?
Oh, that was Jeffrey. Yeah, Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, and his cousin was who?
CJ. He was the very first boot.
But Jeff, I think, comes off very quiet, but I think he's going to have one hell of a social game. The person I didn't see a lot of that I was really surprised to start hearing about in this episode was Josh, because I didn't hear a lot about from Josh in episode 1, episode 2, because again, he's on the winning side. But I'm hearing people talk about Josh, and everybody wants to work with Josh, I'm feeling like. Bloody, everybody seems to know she knows her way around these games. I think Bloody's going to become a target. I think Bloody is being too good in what she's doing, and that's going to make it hard for her. She might be able to pull right into merge, but I don't see her going to the end. I see too many people seeing her as a threat. Jeffrey has pointed it out to everybody why he would have sat her out, which I was like, oh, Jeffrey, stop.
It's the inexperience, I guess, speaking, but
yeah, because you might be tribe swap next round and be working with Bloody, and Bloody's going to be like, no, you are going home. You are a threat to my game. Now you must go. Or she might see him as a good shield. Somebody just keeps talking. But overall, I'm really curious to see how Josh is going to do. I want to see more Josh. That's why I need them to lose, so you really focus more on them next round. Because I know you can't do 2-hour episodes. Because I was like, well, I really like to know who's really working with you over there, but we really don't know yet. And they don't really know yet because they haven't tested anything yet, because nobody's gone to tribal or anything. And I know you're going to have a swap. So does that mean we never get to see the dynamics of really that side possible?
Maybe.
I know you're not going to play it. You're going to, at some point they're swapping. I don't know how or when, because you are going to surprise us, but I know a swap is near and coming. I'd say maybe this round or 2 more rounds, but I think it's coming. And I really, really, really want to see what Michael Brady's going to do this game. Is he going to stay Michael, or is he going to go Brady? Because he never could stay Michael. The good guy act only lasts so long with him. If he makes it to merge, good luck, everybody.
I guess we'll just have to see. So we're going to move on to our final segment, which is the Ember Player of the Episode. So who do you think deserves the Ember Award? So for those who don't know and is listening into the podcast, the Ember Award goes to the player of the episode, the person who you think is the MVP essentially. So I've narrowed it down to two of my choices. Not 100% decided, but Sherry, I'm curious, who do you think deserves the Ember Award for this episode?
I was looking at Ben because he was holding his tribe together, whether they realize it or not. He was the voice of reason to them. And Jenny, I also really liked because she went under attack by Mark. She held it together and potentially just took out her, her thorn in her side. She got rid of Mark, which was whether she knows or not, was an actually a very big move. Mark's the type of person, if you let him go too far to the end, good luck. Then you're gonna have a real hard time getting him out. So I really liked Ben and Jenny together. But overall, I don't know which one I would give it to. I think Jenny, because I think I liked her move a little bit better. Ben really fought to keep Mark, but she saw, and Ben is probably correct. He shouldn't have gotten rid of Mark, but what's done is done. And Jenny just maneuvered her way through what I would call a minefield and was successful with getting out to the other side.
Okay. So I have my choices narrowed down to the same people, Jenny or Ben. I really want to give it to Ben due to the fact that I think Ben is at the center of his team. He is really well liked. He is very clear-headed, which is once again surprising. I thought he's going to be this chaotic mess coming into the game. He knows everything to do. And I think honestly, in a team full of very big personalities, he is potentially subduing his personality, which will help him get further. But I do think that I'm going to have to give the Ember Award to Jenny because ultimately Jenny took charge and not even in a conventional way. Mark was a threat to her game. Because she stuck with Tasha, Tasha now has allegiance to her, and then she got out her biggest threat to her own personal game. The question is, was that really good in the short term? It could be good in the long term, but you have to make it to the long term. But still, because of that move to get out someone as big as Mark, and she also had good reason for keeping Jeffrey too, which is not something obvious that people would think about. But yeah, I'm going to give it to Jenny. That's who I'm giving my Ember Award to.
I would agree because when Jenny, like I said, I was writing the note, why would I target Mark? Over Jeffrey. Jeffrey would be a better shield, but Mark was threatening Jenny's game.
Yeah. So I guess on that note, do you have any final thoughts before we conclude the podcast?
I want to see the other side lose now. I'm dying to see that because we get little snippets of what's going on over there, but that's not enough because I feel like the real mess is going to be over there, the first tribal. So I would love to see it. I'm hoping it happens before you have a swap and they all get swapped around. Otherwise, I guess I probably won't get an opportunity to see it till they all end up marching their way into merge. But this season, I feel like it's coming out a whole lot stronger than last season. I feel like there's a lot more experience. You had, what was the one note I took about that? It was a good mix of new players versus vets in this season. I feel like you have a lot of vets that are going to be able to maneuver in, but these new players are strategic also, and they're not going to be pushovers. I think they're going to stand up for, because you got Tracy, I don't know what I'm doing, but here I am to play. And right off, girl, your internet sucks, I'll never forget that line.
Yeah, one third of our cast is new to orgs. Another third of the cast has played a couple of games, and then the other third of the cast is very experienced. So it's like this nice spectrum, very even in each category.
I agree. You're doing a great job, Casey. I can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds. I can't wait for the next episode. Any hints that you want to give us before we leave?
I'd have to prepare that beforehand, so I have nothing that I can give you at the moment. But I will say, though, this season continues. Actually, I'll say this. This season continues to get spicy. This is a taste of the conflict ahead.
Ooh, because I'm ready to take them. Come to us. Come see us on Conflict. Louise, I would love to talk to you. You're a fiery little spitball. I've got my eyes on you, girl. And Jenny. All right, well, with that, I'll let you get logged off for your viewing audience.
All right. Well, thank you, Sherry, for coming on. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Casey Needs a Co-host. And on that note, I guess I'll see you guys next podcast. Bye.
Peace, guys.